YouTube, what's the deal?
It's time to get real with Jahaira. It's time to get real with Jahaira.
YouTube, what's the deal?
What's the deal? One love.
YouTube, what's the deal? It's your girl Jahaira, and I am back. Hey y'all. You gotta forgive my voice. I'm a little bit hoarse because I was doing a lot of screaming last weekend, and yeah, it just caught to me. And I'm just now getting over the events of last weekend. I'm recuperating. But I wanted to come in and talk to y'all about something that happened, I want to say about maybe 2 weeks ago, that was incredibly significant in my life. And for those of you who have been following my channel and have seen some of my prior videos, or maybe the one prior video I've ever done regarding this issue, ironically, that was also done in response to an episode of Oprah's Life Class. Then you know that my relationship with my father is contentious at best. I'm going to link you guys to that other video so that you can get into the history. But suffice it to say, the long and short of it is, after shortly prior to beginning my transition, my father and I became estranged. And I felt that I was disowned by him, and continue to feel that I've been disowned by him. And his, 98% of his entire family. But I realize there's been another Oprah's Life Class episode, but I'm still sort of stuck on the one in St. Louis with Iyanla Vanzant. So when I was watching that, as I said, there were like a number of light bulb moments for me. But when I was watching it, sort of close to the beginning, Oprah had asked, is there anything in your life that you are still angry about, that you are still holding on to? And my knee-jerk reaction was, no, there isn't. There's really nothing I'm holding on to anger about. Damn it. But then Iyanla came in to say that just about everybody is holding on to anger regarding something, but they don't call it anger. They call it hurt, they call it stress, they call it frustration, they call it depression, they call it loneliness or misery or insecurity, but they don't identify it as anger. And so it comes out in drinking, it comes out in gambling, it comes out in drugs or sex or men or food. And right around the part where she got to the food was when I said, there might be some shit I'm still angry about. But it did kind of get me to thinking about him. And so he and I speak once a month, purely for, I guess, professional purposes. It's not like a hey, how you doing thing. It's sort of like there's an arrangement, suffice it to say. And so I called him probably around, I can't even say 2 weeks ago. I probably called him maybe around the 23rd or the 24th. As per our arrangement. And I should mention that my birthday was March 4th, and I had to call him and remind him that it was my birthday. He had forgotten. And the previous year, when I had turned 32, I called him, again under similar circumstances, and he asked me how old I was. So this is all set up for a purpose, y'all. So I called him And we went through our like rudimentary bullshit, like, hey, how are you? How you doing? How's the family? Which, I mean, you can set your watch to the nature of our conversations every month. And y'all, I have heard of word vomit before, but I've never experienced it until that moment. Because seemingly out of nowhere, after having watched Life Class and gleaning all the information that I possibly could from that incredibly powerful episode, which is available to be viewed on Oprah.com, I said to him, you know, I need to say something to you. Now, I should mention that my father is 73 years old. And 73 is 73. It's not what it used to be, but it's still 73. And when you deal with somebody on such a surface level as I have with my father has with me, you know, I've been very cognizant of the notion that there aren't an abundance of grains of sand left in the hourglass. You know what I'm saying? So it has kind of come to a point of like, poop or get off the pot. Like, either you're going to say whatever it is you need to say or forever hold your peace. And I said to him, out of nowhere, once again, it's really, really reprehensible of you to forget my birthday. And it was really, really reprehensible of you to not remember how old I was. Regardless of what you think about me now, there was a time in your life when you wanted me. Because y'all, if y'all remember, this is my adopted father. My biological parents went on to be with the Lord years upon years upon years ago, before I, you know, even have a conscious memory of them. So the joys of being adopted and what you're told when you're informed that you've been adopted is that you were chosen. And that's how adopted kids end up feeling special. We're brought up and raised to believe that we were picked, that there was a conscious choice made, which has made the source of my pain regarding my relationship with him. I mean, it's been exacerbated 100-fold, because it's like, in my mind, you made this choice and then you decided you didn't want me anymore. And because I'm not your blood, you don't have any hang-ups about making that decision. So yeah, again, digressing, but I essentially said all of that to him, and that given the nature of our relationship, the very least you could do is remember the day that I was born. This man and I have not had a conversation that deep, that emotive, in over 16 years. And he said to me, I'm sorry. He said, I'm sorry, and you're right, and it was a shitty thing for me to do, and I apologize. And those are words I really did not expect to hear out of his mouth. Nor was I necessarily you know what I mean? It's like, when you come into a situation with no expectations, you really can't be disappointed at the outcome. So I really, when it was coming out of my mouth, and I mean, as I was saying it, I was choking back tears, because I tapped into a source of angst for me that I have never allowed to come to the surface. Ever. Even making that last video, I was still very, you know, conscious and coherent and methodical in my delivery. And it really wasn't an emotional video for me. I felt that it was kind of, it was cathartic. I mean, and I did feel like it was necessary to put the information out there, but it wasn't by any stretch of the imagination something that stirred up any great feelings within me, as much as it was an analysis of the situation. So he said that to me, and I was floored. And then we kind of delved into it a little deeper. As far as, like once I started talking, y'all, I could not stop. Something just burst in me. I'm laughing at the word burst. Some of y'all will know why. But, yeah, it's like the dam broke and everything just, and I was just going into, my favorite color is purple, and I like grabbing coffee with friends. Like, I was just giving him like bullet points. These are things you should know about me, the person that at some point in your life you wanted. And I want you to carry these. There is a robin redbreast outside of my window. I want you to, ADD moment. Oh, look. Okay. I want you to carry these little bullet points through to your dying day. Because, and I said this to him, I don't know you. I don't know who you are. You don't know who I am. You have no idea what makes me tick. And the most he knows about me really has been as a result of YouTube. Because about 6 months ago, he had asked me about my channel. And so I gave him the, Driver's Mission URL. And then when he would call, or I would call in the months, afterwards, leading up to now, he would start quoting things I would say in my videos. I remember one time I picked up the phone and I said, hello. And I have caller ID. I knew it was him. I said, hello. He said, YouTube, what's the deal? I fell out. But anyway, I started saying all of this to him, and I said, essentially, I'm a good individual. I'm smart as hell. I'm charismatic and passionate and driven and focused, and I'm giving and loving, and I'm funny. And I can't attribute any of that to you. And he said that he was proud of me. He said that he saw that I had carved my own niche in this world, and that he was proud of me. And when I tell y'all you could have knocked me over with a feather, I was gone. I was so far gone, I lack the verbiage to express to you. I do. I just can't impress upon you enough. Like, I was just, it was over. It was just over. And I said to him, do you realize you haven't said that to me since I was a teenager? Do you know that? He said yes. And so we talked for a little while longer. He had to get going. And I said, if you ever decide that you want to continue this conversation, you have the number. And he said, well, let's make sure we stay in touch. And I said, no. We are not going to do anything because my phone has been here and it rings. If you want to talk, call me. And he hasn't to date, but I feel that I have said everything, absolutely everything that I needed to say to him in order to heal. If you remember Iyanla in life class saying you've got to feel it, you've got to deal with it, and that way you can start to heal it. I allowed myself to feel everything that I had buried regarding how hurt I was by what he had done to me. And let me just say this. I had taken on this attitude, and I mentioned this in the last video, but I'll go into it again now. I had taken on this attitude of, why should I care about somebody who has patently proven that he does not care about me? Patently. I mean, there has been no confusion as to the state of his investment in how I felt about what had transpired between us. None. No confusion whatsoever. So why should I put forth the energy? You know what I mean? It's like beating your head against a wall and expecting the wall to hurt. You know what I'm saying? And that was my mindset. But what I learned was that by giving myself permission to feel whatever it was that I was feeling, I was freeing myself from the bondage of the melancholia associated with that aspect of my life. I wasn't doing it for him. I was doing it for me. So I hope y'all can take something away from this. And I hope that in some way you can find a way to apply it to your own life. You know, when I made that video come out, you know, I'm not knocking the video. I appreciate, you know what I mean? I think that I made some valid points, but the thing that kept sort of resurfacing in folks that watched the video was, okay, I want to come out. I want to come out from the pain and the misery and the despair and the depression and all that, you know, I've been consumed with that has a negative connotation to it. But how? How do I do it? And how you do it is to not be afraid of feeling however you feel about what's happened to you or with you or because of you. To really call up that pain, that trauma, that hurt, that angst, to really call it up, sit in the middle of it, allow yourself to feel it with the confidence that on the other side of that, you will be okay. Because the pendulum is always going to swing both ways. It never stays stuck unless you allow it to. The pendulum will never, you will have ups, you will have downs and highs and lows. I mean, you will run the gamut of human emotions if you allow yourself to. So in that moment on that phone, I finally felt it. I finally wrapped my arms around that 16-year-old girl and said, what happened to you was not right. What happened to you was wrong. But look what's happened since. Look who you are now. So clearly it is okay. And it's going to be okay. And now it's even better than okay because I've dealt with it. I've dealt with it. And whatever he decides to do from here, am I open to speaking with him again and continuing the dialogue? Yes. I can finally say, yes, I am. Because I know that no matter what happens, if he never calls again, I've done my part. My work is done. I have said all that I've needed to say to him. And I'm okay with whatever's to come. So again, I hope y'all can take something from this. And yeah, I feel better. I will talk to y'all very soon. Hopefully I'll have a voice by the time I do it. One love.